period of time, since they don't know and they have normalized the warmth that's increasing, they gradually cook in it and die, and they don't know they have to get out of it. But you put a few frogs in hot water, they'll immediately jump out because they can see the difference. But you get cooked slowly, you die. You just die. Climate change is something like that. Over a long period of time, we've allowed it to enter by our own practices, our own habits, and the way we have actually interacted with technology. But findings have been gradually cooked. And we come to a place where we find that, oh my gosh, this is going to happen to me. I'm going to get cooked and I'm going to die, but I can't get out of the water. It's amazing. I heard the UN Secretary General saying, what's his name? Anthony Guterres, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's some Spanish name. He saying that, in my experience till now with all the, I found that they all lack politic will to do it, and it's not going to be done. Then he made another statement, an amazing statement. He said, you religious guys, organizations that run religion and all that, they're called faith-based organizations, FBOs. Now, you could give some other definition for the FBO. FBOs, faith-based organizations. You can do. These big political men and leaders of big places, they can't do something. They lack the political will to do it. Although they know something is wrong, they can't do it. But you guys can do it. And the answer he gave, I mean, the comment he gave was, because you are faith-based. Because you're faith-based. And based on that, you have certain values. So it was a very amazing comment. I'm going to speak to you folks today, friends, on that little thing and have you think about it a little bit. Climate change and things that are happening around have got very deep connection, connotation to what's happening inside us. It's connected with consciousness. You have a polluted consciousness, you have a polluted atmosphere outside. These are linked together. Somewhere along the line, I said that we gradually, unbeknownst to us, brought ourselves into this cooking pot. And people are waking up now and talking about the fact that a dirty inside will produce a dirty outside. Climate change within is required in order to change the climate outside. That's the conclusion of many great big thinkers. And this is not something that is not known in the ancient tradition that I come in. People knew this, and I'm going to take a little sliver from an ancient text called the Bhagavad Gita. I think a lot of you are familiar. I generally speak a lot of Gita values to people. And there is an amazing comment made about consciousness. And the Gita is a talk 5,000 plus years back on the battlefield between a fighting soldier, very good, highly talented person, and his dear friend who happens to be God, who is his driver and chariot driver, and those vehicles means chariots. And he's having a heart-to-heart conversation. Why are we fighting this war? Why am I fighting this war? And he starts very foundational, premise-based thinking. Why did I land up like this? And in front of me are people whom I know so well, who gave me value, younger days, like my teachers, people I value a lot. Why am I pushed against them in battle? Something is foundationally wrong here. So that's how the conversation starts. And he says, I feel I don't want to fight this war. That's how the conversation starts. And amazingly, in that, there's a discussion about consciousness. And he's being told that you have a consciousness that's polluted and you're not able to understand really values. And you made a big mistake if you go by that polluted consciousness and try to make judgments. When I first read them, I thought this is, somebody told me that you guys, I mean, you see, your whole wisdom is based on the war field, and it's about war, and it's about religious war, and religious war means this. It's all wrong interpretation. It's not about religious war. It's about a war within us, inside us. And if we sort out the war within us, inside us, we can actually sort out the war outside. Having said that, I'll say in that conversation, there is a discussion about this which is very relevant to climate change. We'd like to talk to you about it. Although there's a wide array of subjects discussed there, amazingly, most people think it's a religious text. It's not a religious text, actually. It's a text about life. In that, he's being told that this is a sacred tripartite relationship, which is, if flouted, many things go wrong. Man, nature, divinity, God. There is a very sacred relationship, and this is what the whole conversation is about. It's beautiful. It's not taking any fanatic religious mode. It's speaking about the fact that there are three entities you should know the relationships about. One is divine personality, divinity, God, whatever you want to call it. And then there is nature. And there's you inside this nature setting. So I find myself born into this world, beautiful world. The sun is shining and there's a beautiful sky and there's greenery around. There is water bodies around and there is rain and there is fauna and flora and birds and animals and whatnot here setting up. Are they not pretty friendly? Are they in any way inimical to you? They move around you and they come close to you, and what if you immediately look at them like, wow, tasty, cook them up, eat them up. This is how we made a mistake. When you look at nature around you in an exploitative, manipulative fashion, that's when starts the problem. There's a harmony that these people are not thinking like that. They're coming close to you. They're, wanting to be friendly, pretty friendly. So when we look at nature in an exploitative way, how I can control it, how I can manipulate it, how I can use it for my gratification, there starts the problem. There starts the problem. You don't need to look at it that way in order to be able to enjoy some products of nature. Disturbing, eh? Pretty disturbing. Product of man's, interference. So I'm saying that if you have a relationship with nature, it's easier. And for that, what do you need to do? Actually, relationships exist between personalities more deeply, more definitely. So in this tradition, nature is seen as a personality. Seen as personality. In Sanskrit, there's a word. Bhumi means earth. Prithvi means earth. And she, a feminine gender. Bhumi is feminine, and we have a motherly relationship with the earth. There are 7 types of mothers in this tradition. Atmamata, Gurur Patni, Rajapatnika, Denur Dhatri Tata Prithvi. I'll explain that to you. I used all Sanskrit names. Adu Mata means your own biological mother, wife, queen. Then Dhenu, cow. Dhatri, the earth. Prithvi, the earth. Dhatri means the nurse, the lady who looks after you, tends to you, washes your clothes, gives you a bath, and a nurse. All these are given a position of respect as mother. 7 mothers are listed to you, right? Your own biological mother gives birth to you. Your teacher's wife, guru's patni, guru patni, and Rajapatnika, the king's wife, is in a position of mother to you. And then the cow, the nurse, earth. These are all mothers. And when you actually relate with them like that, there's great harmony. And everything that you need is given by Mother Earth to you because she's your mother. She looks after you. And she gives you minerals, she gives you so many fruits, vegetables, you name it, everything comes from the earth. So the person to person consciousness creates a very big difference. And you would not treat Mother Earth in an exploitative way. You want to drill her and suck out the oil. You want, deforest. You won't do all those things because why? It's a personality. Personalism and personality with nature will make a very huge difference. And right now, we are like is the other side. We look at nature as something we can exploit and manipulate to have our gratification out of it. So that's created the problem. So shifting of our consciousness from thinking that everything is there up for grabs and anybody can do anything they want, shifting that from that to a consciousness of personality, a relationship, and dealing out of respect creates a completely different atmosphere. So God, nature, and man, this tripartite relationship. I've just spoken about man and nature. Similarly, there's a relationship between nature and God, and there's a relationship between God and nature. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it says that nature is subordinate to God, and there's a personal relationship there too. And we as individuals and nature together both are subordinate to the divinity, although there's a relationship. When we accept it like that, and there's great harmony. In other words, there is a spiritual element to our relationship with nature, and there's a spiritual element between our relationship with the God, divinity, and there's a spiritual element between God and nature, and the relationship is spiritual. The relationship is spiritual. It's not material. So this consciousness, this change of consciousness, will actually help us a lot in bringing about the necessary climate change. In other words, climate, whatever is happening, is a reflection of what's happening inside us. There's some short circuit inside. It's not operating properly. And that, when we set right, the attitudes, our disposition towards nature would change, then I think nature also becomes your good friend. There's a nice story in a ancient literature called the Bhagavat, wherein in reality there is a king who actually tortures people and doesn't have proper values in place. Instead of looking after them, he exploits them, and therefore there's an upset in this tripartite relationship. And then that king is got rid of by very intelligent people, and then is replaced by another king who's very dutiful, responsible, very spiritually cultured. So when he starts actually operating, his name is King Prithu, out of whom Prithvi, earth came. So what he did first is actually he asked Mother Earth in a spiritual relation that you should start actually helping me maintaining all the citizens in the kingdom by providing for them because you've stopped providing. And she said, no, all you kings are exploitative. You have done this to me, you have done that to me. I will not be able to do that anymore because I have no faith in you. And then he says, no, you must. And I will look after you. I'll develop a good relationship. It's a relationship talk with Mother Earth. It's very interesting. And then she says, I don't trust you guys. You rulers in society, you leaders, I don't trust. So I'm not going to give my wealth to the people who are under you. And then he says, if you don't, they will die, I will suffer, and in turn, you will also suffer. So he starts communicating with her, and then he chases her. She refuses to give, and finally corners and said, you must. Otherwise, I go to the extent of even killing you. I have the powers to do that. And in this way, there's a, interaction, and then finally there's a discussion, and then she succumbs and says, okay, under the guarantee that you will actually look after me and respect me properly. He says, okay, and I give you that contract, signed agreement. I will look after you, you deliver. And it so happens that he looks after and she delivers, and there's again good reigning. So the earth became known by this king's name, Prithu. She became known as Prithvi because he looked after her so well that she gave plentifully, bounteously for everybody. That's a beautiful story. And some people may think that, oh, it looks like a fairy tale, that earth is personified and there's a human being called king and he interacted and things like that. But it's actually true that earth is a personality. And if we start relating in spiritual terms, earth is a personality. And when we relate spiritually, we can actually develop a spiritual relationship. So somehow humankind has lost spiritual bearings, the values that were set. And because of that, I think we look at everything in a material way, and we look at everything as something meant for me to exploit and derive something from. And our whole action and procedures are very different. Because of that, this, what do you call, backlash, we are suffering the form of a climate change. So climate change requires a spiritual solution. It's a material problem that requires a spiritual solution. And the spiritual solution is changing of our consciousness from materialistic, exploitative aspects to actually a relational, spiritual interaction. And this requires spiritual upgradation of the human being, a spiritual upgradation of each one of us. Units of human society would go a long way in making a collective change of human consciousness, and therefore there'll be much better, interaction with nature around. While we are talking here, we are enjoying the atmosphere, we're enjoying the greenery, we're enjoying and we have this thing coming quite often, the sound coming. See the interference? I'm not saying that technology is bad, I'm not saying that, definitely these things are good. There's a lot that's come about from all this. I flew here all the way from India on a 14 hours journey, and I landed in Seattle from Delhi to here. I couldn't have come so fast within 14 hours. It's amazing. But at the same time, sometimes if we don't know how to manage it and use it, we affect ourselves, we affect human society and the collective consciousness, and we face those repercussions. Okay? So intelligent use of technology so that it doesn't interfere with our spiritual development is something that's needed. So factor in spiritual dimension and upgrade that within us. And I think that we will use all these facilities provided by the divine person in a much more responsible way. I'll stop here. And if there's any little query and question, I'd like to answer it and take it forward from here. Okay? Tripartite relationship, man, nature, and God, I'm speaking about. And I highlighted man and nature's relationship a little bit. I did not speak much about God and the human being, etc. That'll be in the next session. Okay? It's just to provoke you and excite you a little bit and thinking in these terms for solving climate change problems. Spiritual solution is what is required for climate change problem. When we talk about spiritual solution, it means each one of us looking inside us. As spirituality means personality, individuals, right? And in this way, I think we will go a long way. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. I'll become meditative henceforth unless you ask a question. If you don't have a question, then we do Kirtan. That's the question.
Why is there such strong desire in human beings to be exploitative? Why is there such a strong desire in humans to be exploitative?
Because to cap it, lack of spiritual dimension, lack of spiritual upgradation within each human being makes you very materialistic. Materialistic means you want to possess, you want to control, you want to exploit, and there's no spiritual value in it. That's a problem. Our educational system, our lifestyles are all guided by that type of values. And so collectively we have landed ourselves up, like I said, the frogs getting cooked inside gradually. We've landed ourselves into a really difficult situation. And I think at least now we should do some introspection. And the big lack is spirituality. We are essentially spiritual beings. And if we don't feed ourselves with spiritual stuff, we would die spiritually. We would die spiritually. We actually are just operating as machines, unconscious spiritual beings operating in a system very exploitatively. And that's what's happened. So I think we need spiritual upgradation. What's your name?
Raghav.
Raghav. Yeah, thank you, Raghav. Your name?
Jasper.
Jasmine.
Jasper.
Jasper. Yeah, Jasper.
How does the exploitative nature of humans increase, or does it increase with the age that we're in?
I didn't hear you fully, the last bit.
How does the exploitative nature of us increase as the ages progress? Are we the most exploitative right now in this way?
Oh, interesting question. Yeah. Jasper is asking that have we evolved into becoming more and more exploitative? We're talking about progress in civilization and technology and that and this. But if you look at it in terms of spiritual values, we have actually landed up becoming more and more exploitative. Yeah. How does it happen? Degradation, spiritual degradation. I was just talking to, who was it? Our, who drove me? Sanjay. I was just talking to him that he's got an IT job. So we were talking about AI. It's an interesting answer to your question. I said that now in the corporate world, a lot of times you talk about human resource, HR. So I said, I think the change will come when you start talking about human beings. Long back it was human beings, and now it's become human resource, unbeknownst to us. If you start looking at people as a material resource, you take away from their consciousness, right? The more we have that type of an idea, the more degraded you become spiritually. So now human beings are seen as a material resource. How much can this guy give me in terms of profits, in terms of material value? We talk of people and judge people according to what material resource can this guy offer. It's a very derogatory way of looking at another human being, assessing you quickly materially. What can I get from you? How good are you in terms of satisfying my material needs alone? That is the way we look at people now, right? And we're thinking that people will not acquiesce or will not surrender to this type of a mode. So it's better to turn to artificial people. Let's make robots and I'll be 100% paka in actually assessing him materially. So this a conscious human being will not easily succumb to your material analysis and your material assessment of him completely, because he's a conscious person screaming and asking for a human relation, a conscious human relation. And if you don't give it, there's problem there. This is what's happened. Degradation means uh, looking at people in a very material way, in a mechanical way, in a mechanistic way, and forgetting that they are conscious, living, emotional beings whom you can relate with. Being means consciousness. Resource means just mechanical, material resource. The more you look at people that way, the more degraded society becomes. Does this give you an answer, Jasper? Yeah. Wow, you're having. Yeah. I'll take her first and then your name?
Dani. Dani.
Tani.
D. Dani.
Dhani.
D-A-N-Y.
Okay, Dany. Okay.
Can you name the 7 mothers again?
Your biological mother. And your teacher's wife. Guru Patni means Guru's wife. Then the queen, the ruling king's wife. We don't have a monarchy now, so you can take it in some other way. The ruling king's wife. Then the cow, the sacred cow. Then the nurse who looks after you. Then Mother Earth. How much is that? Atma Mata, Guru Patni,
6.
Brahmani. I forgot to mention to you about Brahmani means a Brahmana's wife. I'll explain to you what's a Brahmana. Brahmana means a intelligent, well-read, well-educated resource. Gives you all sorts of knowledge. That section of society is called like teachers. Guru is a spiritual teacher, and a Brahmana is a teacher who will teach you on any subject matter. Okay? A Brahmana's wife, Brahmani, is also considered to be your mother. Okay? That makes 7? It's a different perspective. I mean, you respect them as mother. Then things change a lot.
Can you,
Dani and then you?
Jason.
Jason?
Jason. Yeah.
Okay, Jason.
Can you recommend a good, or lead us in a good mantra for the upgradation of our relationship with
I'm
Mother
coming
Earth?
to that.
Yeah.
I'm finishing with that.
Okay.
So for consciousness to change, for climate to change inside, we'll sing that mantra. And then things are going to change.
I have a
Gradually.
question. How do you give up
Your name?
Rohana?
Rohana.
How do you give up earthly desires?
How do you give up?
Earthly desires.
Earthly desires. I like the way you framed it. Earthly desires. We've been talking about the earth, but I wouldn't take it in that sense. Earthly desires, I would say, is material desires, and want to promote us with more of spiritual desires. Yeah, if you associate materialistically with nature, even with the people around you, if you dehumanize them, if you de-spiritualize them, and you look at them just like a resource, then you're going to have more and more earthly desires and earthly requirements, and you're misguided. But if you start looking at people spiritually, this is a spiritual person. Apart from the other material qualities of, he may be from China, he may be from Timbuktu, he may be from India, and he looks like this, or she looks like this, and these are all material aspects of the person. But beyond that, beyond all that, that person is a spiritual entity. That's a common factor. And there's a beautiful expression in that conversation I said, Geeta, that that person who is able to look at an animal, an elephant, a cow, a very intelligent, learned Brahmana, and a very low-leveled person who's in suffering poverty, but he sees all of them equally spiritually, he is a real learned person. The person who can see everybody equally spiritually in spite of their material manifestation, which is varied, that person is educated. He's really educated. So actually we need spiritual education, and then we are able to see people equally. There's a lot of clamor about equality now. There's gender equality, there's social equality, there is employer and employee equality, there is, income distribution equally for everybody. Richie guys like Elon Musk or somebody else, and poor guys down in Africa somewhere. Wealth should be distributed. Everything should be equal. But it's not so easy to have material equalities. But it's easy if you have spiritual equality, because everybody is a spiritual entity. From there, if you start, you'll actually be able to make equality even materially. So I think that, like I mentioned to Raghav also, looks like that we need to culture some spiritual sense. And then earthly things can be toned down. And it's not that we should not have any type of material desire. It has to be a good balance. I'm not saying that you should not have desire materially. We should balance it well. Right now it's like completely one-sided, and it's creating problems for us. Okay, Rohana, does this help you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so shall we? I don't play the harmony. I don't play any. You can play the. Oh, if you give me the.
You have the.
Hey. Super small. Yeah. No, I'll use this. I'll try using this. Yeah, that's a little longer. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Please repeat after me. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabho Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Jai Hare Hare Rama Jai Rama 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 Jai Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare
Thank you, everybody. Now we'll transition to the after party back at Bhakti Studio. Thank you so much for coming out to Gasworks Park. I don't know about all of you, but I personally love being outside of those four walls. Did you all like it? Or do you want we should do more outdoor stuff, perhaps. That being said, just a couple of announcements because I think the chaos will. Yes, increase my mic volume. I can't hear me. Okay. How about now? You can hear me? You can hear me, but there's feedback. Okay. There we go. Whoa. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Yeah, in terms of mic stuff, this isn't the best positioning. So I want to first of all thank all the Kirtan Niyas, people who led the Kirtan, who helped accompany the Kirtan. We had Jasper on the bass guitar. We had the small but mighty Madhav on the mridanga, the clay drum. We had Ganpati on the other drum. What is that drum called, by the way? The djembe. And then we had Bree singing back up and playing the kartals. And then we had Jason lead us in an intermission storytelling kirtan. And then finally we had Bhakti Vinod Swami wrap it up, put the bow on the top, and conclude everything. Thank you so much for coming out. If this is your first time at a Bhakti Studio event, we hope you continue to come. Our goal is to spiritualize the city of Seattle through various values-based topics like the one we discussed today. We have events online and in person. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, but I say that with a word of caution because I don't know how Facebook works. And also you can visit us online, or if you're going back to the studio, you can join our WhatsApp community, which is perhaps the most up-to-date information. In addition, we want to excitedly announce that we have a new India retreat coming up in 2026. It is January 11th to 25th. So 2 weeks in India, the land of spirituality, at a beautiful place called the Govardhan Eco Village. It is a UN award-winning model of a sustainable village rooted in Vedic lifestyle. So there you will get to experience ashram life, but also what it means to be a spiritually rooted person. You'll practice mantra meditation, yoga asana, you'll eat spiritually empowered foods grown sustainably, and much more. So more information again can be found in the studio. That being said, I will ask some of our volunteers to start taking people back.
Wait,
And-
first, can we give a round of applause to Ian here?
You know, I was actually afraid of doing this outside because I was like, people are going to get self-conscious. No one is going to sing. No one's going to stand up. It's going to be like stone face, rock wall. But I'm so glad that everybody felt safe to be themselves. And hopefully, you know, they heard us at least in the middle of the water. Next time we'll bring some more speakers to make sure we can blast it all the way across. Thank you, everybody.
So we would request everybody to come and have your dinner, okay? But while going, if you can take some item and brush it off so that we don't take the other stuff from here, pots and anything. So just yeah. So okay, so good. I think you should move ahead. Sure.